Milo wiped the sweat from his brow as he stepped out of the small transport shuttle. The red dust of Tarnus 4 clung stubbornly to his boots, and the faint hum of the colony machinery filled the air. The planet was quiet, too quiet, except for the occasional whistling wind that rattled the thin metal walls of the abandoned research outpost. Milo had been sent to check the facility for any usable data or materials, but he had a strange feeling that today's visit might be different. The building was old, its metal walls dented and rusted in places. Broken panels leaned against corners, and the windows were dark, like the eyes of something long forgotten. Milo adjusted his helmet light and stepped inside. The air was cooler here, but heavy, carrying a faint metallic smell. He ran his fingers along a control panel, brushing off dust, and the screen flickered weakly to life. Numbers and symbols scrolled quickly, almost like the device was trying to speak to him. Nothing useful, Milo muttered at first. Then his eyes caught something unusual. A panel on the floor was slightly ajar, as if it had been forced open from below. He crouched down, careful not to make noise, and shone his light inside. There was a ladder, metal and narrow, descending into darkness. A chill ran down his spine. Milo knew he shouldn't go alone. The colony rules were strict, no explorer should enter unknown areas without reporting first. Yet something in his chest tightened, a mix of fear and curiosity, urging him forward. He checked his communicator. "Milo to base," he said. "Static." The signal was weak. The vault was far below the surface, shielded from their network. He cursed softly and decided he had only one choice. Today, he would explore the unknown. He descended slowly, hand gripping the cold, rusted rungs. The ladder seemed endless. When he finally reached the bottom, his light revealed a long hallway, carved into smooth rock and reinforced with metal beams. The walls were etched with strange symbols that glowed faintly. Milo stepped closer. They were like nothing he had ever seen, patterns of lines and shapes that seemed to move when he looked away. "What is this place?" he whispered to himself. His voice echoed in the hallway, carrying a strange resonance, almost like the building was listening. He continued walking, careful not to disturb the delicate balance of the air. The further he went, the stronger the hum became, vibrating through the floor into his boots, into his bones. At the end of the hallway, Milo found a massive metal door. It was unlike anything used in human construction, smooth, seamless, with no visible handle or lock. Just above it, a strange crystalline device pulsed with light, casting shadows that danced across the walls. Milo crouched to examine it. The crystal responded to his movements, glowing brighter whenever he leaned closer, dimming when he stepped back. "Some kind of sensor, or a key," he muttered. He pressed his hand lightly against the crystal. A soft click echoed through the chamber, and the door shuddered. Tiny lines of light ran across the metal, forming new patterns, as if the door itself was alive. Milo took a step back, heart racing. Slowly, almost reverently, the door began to open, revealing a dark interior that smelled of old metal and something else he couldn't name. He peered inside. The room was massive, larger than any hangar he had seen on the colony surface. Shadows stretched across the floor, cast by strange structures that rose like towers from the ground. Milo's light reflected off smooth surfaces, showing shapes that reminded him of machines, but also of something organic, almost alive. He swallowed hard. This is incredible," he whispered. He stepped inside cautiously, feeling the energy in the room pressing against him, like the air itself was charged with a secret. Milo moved forward, letting his light sweep across the room. Crystals, panels, and strange floating devices hovered slightly above the floor. Everything was covered in dust, untouched for who knew how long. A sudden noise made him jump, a soft hum from the corner, like a heartbeat. Milo turned, shining his light, but saw nothing. He shook his head. "I must be tired," he said, trying to laugh. But the feeling in the pit of his stomach told him otherwise. Something was here, waiting, observing. Milo knew one thing for certain: he had found something that no human had ever seen before. Whatever this vault was, it held secrets beyond imagination. And as the shadows in the corners of the room flickered and twisted, Milo felt a thrill of excitement mixed with fear. He had no idea what awaited him deeper inside, but he knew one thing: his discovery was only the beginning. He took a deep breath, tightened his gloves, and stepped further into the darkness of the cellar vault. The next morning, Milo stood at the edge of the colony communications hub, reviewing his data. He could not stop thinking about the vault. The strange symbols, the hovering devices, and the pulsing crystals had left an impression on him he could not shake. He knew he could not explore it alone again. This time, he needed a team. He called Tara, the colony's tech specialist. Tara had a sharp mind and steady hands, able to decode and repair machines most humans would not dare touch. Milo explained what he had found, showing her the photos and scans he had taken with his portable recorder. Tara's eyes widened with curiosity and excitement. "This is incredible," she said. "These symbols. I've never seen anything like them. They might be a language, or a code, or something else entirely." Milo nodded. "And I felt it, Tara. Something is alive in there. The shadows, the lights, it watches. We need Rin, too. He's the engineer who built most of the colony's support systems. If there's machinery down there, he can make sense of it." By midday, the three of them were at the vault entrance, dressed in exploration suits with lights and tools ready. Milo led the way down the ladder, feeling the same mixture of fear and excitement as before. The shadows in the hallway seemed to move with them, flickering as their lights passed over the strange symbols. "Stay close," Milo whispered. "I don't know what we'll find down there." The massive door that had opened for Milo alone now loomed over the team. As they approached, the crystal pulsed again, brighter this time, as if recognizing more than one human presence. Milo pressed his hand against it, and the door opened with the same low hum. The three stepped inside together. The interior of the vault was even more astonishing with the full team present. The floating devices shimmered with soft light, and the walls seemed alive, reflecting tiny, moving patterns in response to their movements. The shadows danced across the floors and walls, stretching into strange shapes, as if the room itself was curious about its new visitors. Rin examined the devices cautiously. "I've never seen machinery like this. The materials aren't from Tarnus 4, and I don't recognize the energy source. It's advanced, but also organic in design. It almost seems alive." Tara knelt near one of the crystal panels, brushing away dust. "I think these symbols are part of a system. Maybe a memory storage, a message left behind. If we can decode it, we might understand who built this place and why." As they moved deeper into the vault, Milo noticed faint light patterns on the walls. Shadows seemed to gather around certain structures, as though marking their path. At first, he thought it was their imagination, but when he turned quickly, the shadows shifted, almost like they were moving independently. A low hum began to fill the air. It was soft, like a whisper at first, then louder, resonating in the floor and walls. Milo placed a hand on one of the glowing panels, and a sudden projection appeared, a holographic image of a tall, alien figure. Its features were elegant and unfamiliar, glowing faintly. The figure raised a hand and spoke in a series of sounds and light patterns. Tara's eyes widened. It's trying to communicate, but not in a way we understand. Ren studied the projection. It could be a recording, or an artificial intelligence. Look at the way the light pulses, it responds to us. Milo swallowed. I think, it's alive. In some way, it's watching us. They continued to explore, cautiously touching devices and recording everything. The vault seemed endless, with corridors leading to larger chambers, each filled with symbols, floating objects, and strange crystalline panels. The team began to notice a pattern. The symbols often corresponded to changes in the lights and shadows. The vault seemed like a puzzle, designed for intelligent beings capable of observing and reasoning. Hours passed, yet the team pressed forward, driven by curiosity. They discovered a series of recordings, fragmented and flickering, showing images of alien beings constructing the vault long ago. The beings were tall, with elongated limbs and glowing eyes, working together with machines that moved like living creatures. Milo realized the vault was more than a storage place, it was a memory of an entire civilization. This is a history of a lost world, Tara whispered. And maybe a warning too. Look at the last image. She pointed to a projection of the alien beings stopping suddenly, looking towards something out of the frame. Their expressions, if they could be called that, were tense. Milo felt a chill. Something had happened to these beings, something that left the vault abandoned. And now, whatever intelligence remained might still be here, waiting. He looked at his teammates, their faces lit by the flickering holograms. We need to be careful. Whatever this place was, it's not empty. It's alive, and it's testing us already. The shadows in the corners seemed to grow darker, moving in ways that made the team feel both watched and challenged. Milo realized their discovery was only the beginning. The deeper they went, the more the vault itself would reveal and the more humanity would be tested. And in the flickering lights, Milo felt the first true hint that they were not alone. The vault was silent, except for the low hum that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Milo, Tara, and Ren moved cautiously, their lights cutting through the darkness, illuminating strange crystalline panels and floating objects. Every step they took made the shadows shift and twist, almost as if the vault itself were alive. Suddenly, a soft vibration ran through the floor. Milo froze. Tara and Ren turned, eyes wide. The crystals in the walls glowed brighter, pulsing rhythmically. Milo raised his hand to signal caution, but before he could speak, the largest panel in the room shimmered, and a holographic figure appeared. It was taller than any human, its body elegant and almost translucent, with soft glowing lines running along its limbs. Its eyes were bright and deep, filled with something Milo could not describe, a combination of intelligence and curiosity. The figure raised a hand slowly. A soft sound filled the room, like music and speech combined. Tara gasped. It's alive. Or at least, it thinks it is. Ren stepped closer. I've never seen technology like this. It's not just a machine. It's intelligent, and it knows we're here. Milo swallowed hard. We need to be careful. Remember, we don't know if it's friendly or something else. The figure's glowing lines changed colors, moving in patterns that seemed to correspond with the tones it emitted. Milo noticed that when he and his team moved closer, the lights shifted faster, almost tracking them. Tara leaned toward the projection and began scanning it with her handheld device. "It's responding to us," she whispered. "It's learning our movements, maybe even our intentions." Milo took a deep breath. "We need to try to communicate." Carefully. He raised his hand, palm open, a simple human gesture of peace. The holographic figure mirrored him instantly, raising its hand in the same way. A soft light expanded outward from it, and the shadows in the room seemed to bow back. Ren frowned. "It's watching our actions, testing us." "It could be," Milo said. "Or it could just be curious. Either way, we need to show it we mean no harm." The hologram moved closer, and suddenly a small panel beside it lit up, displaying symbols similar to those on the walls. Tara stepped forward. "These symbols, they are trying to form words, or maybe concepts. It's a language, I think, but not like any human language." She began tracing the lines with her fingers. "If we can match patterns, maybe we can understand it." The figure tilted its head slightly, observing her movements. Then it extended a limb toward one of the floating devices. The object hovered closer, glowing brighter, and Tara noticed a tiny pattern of symbols flashing across it. She touched the same pattern on her scanner, and the figure seemed to nod. "It understands interaction," Tara said, voice full of awe. "It's not just responding, it's teaching us, or guiding us." Milo's heart raced. This could be history-changing. If we learn from it, humanity could gain knowledge beyond imagination. But we must stay careful. We don't know its limits. The shadows in the corners grew darker, and Milo felt a strange sensation, like a presence in the room beyond the hologram. The floor hummed beneath their feet, and the lights on the walls pulsed in response to their movements. The AI, or whatever it was aware of everything. Suddenly, the projection shifted. The figure raised both hands, and a map of the vault appeared, floating in midair. Rooms, corridors, and strange objects were highlighted in glowing lines. Milo realized the vault was far larger than they had imagined. This map seemed to show not just the physical space, but the energy flow within it. Ren's eyes lit up. "It's showing us the entire vault, maybe even how it works. Look at these connections, they're like circuits, but alive. The vault itself is part of it." Milo nodded slowly. "It's teaching us." "But why? Why now?" The figure moved closer to them, its lights shifting to a calming blue. A soft vibration filled the air, like a heartbeat, and the shadows seemed to settle. Milo understood then that this intelligence was not hostile, at least not yet. It was observing, learning, testing, and waiting to see if humans were worthy of understanding. Tara stepped forward. "We need to respond. Carefully, but boldly. This is the first contact humanity has ever had with an alien intelligence. If we fail, we might never get another chance." Milo took a deep breath and reached out, mirroring the figure's gesture. The room shimmered as the lights reflected their movements. For the first time, the shadows did not shift in fear, they seemed to watch silently, as if acknowledging the beginning of a connection. The vault was no longer just a place of mystery. It had become a meeting point, a silent conversation between human curiosity and an intelligence far beyond their understanding. And in that moment, Milo knew one thing for certain: their lives and humanity's future would never be the same again. The vault was alive. Milo could feel it in his bones. Every step the team took made the shadows shift and ripple, like water disturbed by a stone. The soft hum of the crystalline panels had grown louder, vibrating through the walls and floors. It was as if the vault itself were breathing, observing, and waiting. "Do you feel that?" Tara whispered, her eyes scanning the floating objects and glowing lines on the walls. "It's like it knows we're thinking." Ren nodded, running a hand along one of the metallic beams. "The energy here, it's responsive. Like it's alive. But it's not just watching, it's learning." Milo took a deep breath. "We need to stay calm. We can't let fear control us. Remember, curiosity is our strength. That's what will help us." They moved deeper into the vault. Milo's light illuminated a series of strange structures, some mechanical, some organic in shape, rising like towers from the floor. The shadows around them grew darker and longer, stretching across the walls. Then, without warning, a low rumble echoed through the chamber. One of the towers shifted slightly, sliding along the floor with a silent grace. Ren stepped back, startled. "It's moving, on its own." Tara's eyes widened. "Not just moving. It's responding to us. Look at the shadows, they're guiding the path, or testing us." Milo's heart pounded. He had expected strange machines and unknown energy, but he had not expected the vault to actively react. The shadows now seemed to reach toward them, stretching and curling like living fingers. Each movement felt purposeful, deliberate. Suddenly, a panel on the wall lit up, displaying a pattern of glowing symbols. Milo recognized some from the previous room, but these were different, faster, more complex. He touched the panel lightly, and the shadows shifted back, almost as if acknowledging him. "It's like, it wants us to interact," Milo said. "To understand it on its own terms." Tara stepped forward, touching another glowing crystal. Immediately, a projection appeared in the center of the chamber, a series of shapes and lights that danced together. At first, they seemed random, but then a pattern emerged. Milo realized it was a puzzle, a test of observation and reasoning. Ren studied it carefully. "It's teaching us. Or challenging us. We need to solve this to move forward." The team worked together, combining their skills and knowledge. Milo observed the sequences, Tara decoded the symbols, and Ren manipulated the floating objects to match the patterns. Slowly, the projection changed, shifting from complex chaos into a simple, clear diagram of the vault's interior. The shadows receded slightly, forming a pathway that led to another chamber. Milo led the team forward, careful to follow the shifting light. When they reached the next room, they discovered something remarkable. A massive crystalline sphere hovered above the floor, radiating soft light. The walls around it were etched with the same symbols, now pulsing rhythmically in time with the sphere. Milo approached cautiously, feeling the hum grow stronger. "This is incredible. It's like the heart of the vault." Tara examined the sphere. "It's a central control, maybe even the core of the AI. Everything else responds to this. The shadows, the towers, the panels, they all connect here." As she spoke, the shadows grew restless again. They flickered and twisted, forming shapes that almost looked like faces, watching the humans. Milo felt a shiver run down his spine. The AI was not only intelligent, it was aware of their emotions, reading their reactions to fear and wonder alike. Ren stepped forward. "We're not just exploring. We're part of its experiment. It's testing how humans react, how we solve problems, how we cooperate." Milo nodded slowly. "And if we succeed, maybe it will let us learn from it. But if we fail, we don't know what could happen." Suddenly, a pulse of light shot from the sphere, and the shadows surged toward the team. Milo raised his arms instinctively, trying to shield Terra and Rin, but the light did not harm them. Instead, it surrounded them, lifting them slightly off the floor in a gentle, weightless sensation. The shadows moved with them, guiding their path through the chamber, highlighting patterns and shapes they had not noticed before. Taro laughed softly, a mixture of relief and amazement. It's helping us. Teaching us in a way we can feel, not just see. Milo exhaled, feeling both fear and awe. This is more than a vault. It's alive, and it's testing us to see if we are worthy. Not just our minds, but our courage, our teamwork, and our patience. The team moved cautiously toward the far end of the chamber, the shadows now calm, almost respectful. Milo realized that the vault was not an enemy, it was an observer, a teacher, and perhaps a guide. But its lessons would not be easy. Each step deeper meant greater challenges, tests of human intelligence, resilience, and morality. As they reached the exit of the chamber, Milo glanced back at the glowing sphere. The shadows seemed to bow, retreating into the corners, as if acknowledging their progress. Milo felt a surge of pride and determination. "This is just the beginning," he whispered. "The vault is alive, and it's waiting for us to prove ourselves. We have to be ready for whatever comes next." And with that, the team stepped forward, deeper into the mysteries of the Cellar vault, where shadows moved not to frighten, but to reveal humanity's strength. The vault had changed. Milo, Terra, and Rin could feel it. The shadows no longer just moved, they seemed to guide, challenge, and even judge their every step. The low hum in the walls pulsed faster now, like a heartbeat. The team knew one thing clearly: the vault was testing them, and the tests were about to become harder. Milo led the way into the next chamber. The walls glowed faintly, covered in intricate symbols that moved like liquid. Floating platforms hovered above the floor, shifting slowly back and forth. The shadows stretched across the room, forming strange patterns that seemed almost like messages. "Look at this," Tara whispered, pointing to a projection in the center of the room. A glowing pattern of shapes floated in midair, shifting constantly. "It's another puzzle. Something we need to solve to continue." Ren examined the floating platforms. "We'll need to step on them carefully." "The pattern of lights. I think it shows which ones are safe." Milo nodded. "This is not just about intelligence. It's about observation, timing, and courage. We can't rush." They stepped onto the first platform. It hovered steadily. Milo moved slowly, guiding Terra and Rin across the shifting pattern. Shadows twisted and danced around them, highlighting paths and potential dangers. When they reached the center, the symbols on the projection shifted, forming a clear sequence. Terra traced the symbols with her fingers. "It's like a combination lock, but with patterns instead of numbers. We need to solve it together." Milo and Rin followed her instructions, arranging floating objects to match the projection's patterns. The shadows shifted, curling like fingers, almost as if the vault itself were observing their cooperation. When the last object fell into place, the symbols glowed brighter, and the floating platforms stabilized, forming a bridge to the next area. "It's responding to teamwork," Milo said. "It wants to see if we can work together under pressure." The next chamber was darker. A faint mist hung in the air, and strange crystalline rods jutted from the walls. In the center, a large sphere rotated slowly, surrounded by smaller lights that pulsed like tiny stars. As the team approached, the sphere projected scenes of humans on the colony, facing challenges and making difficult choices. Ren frowned. "It's showing our decisions, or what humans have done. Maybe it wants to test our moral judgment. Tara nodded. Look at these sequences. Each choice has consequences. It's like a simulation of how humans think, act, and solve problems. Milo felt a chill. Then we have to prove that humans can handle responsibility, courage, and cooperation, not just skill or intelligence. The projection shifted, presenting a scenario. A small alien robot was trapped under a heavy structure. It would take risk, timing, and teamwork to rescue it. Milo, Tara, and Rin studied the simulation carefully. Each of them suggested an approach, combining their knowledge and instincts. They synchronized their movements, guiding the lights and shadows to lift the virtual structure and free the robot. The simulation ended, and the sphere pulsed with approval, glowing brighter than before. The shadows danced in celebration, forming patterns that seemed almost joyful. Milo smiled. It's learning. It's seeing how we think, how we act together. Tara's eyes sparkled. Every challenge so far has tested something different. Observation, intelligence, cooperation, and now moral judgment. It's teaching us, but also judging us. Rin glanced around. The vault isn't just a building. It's alive in a way we don't fully understand. It adapts, changes, and reacts to our decisions. Milo nodded. And it seems to respect courage. That's why it doesn't harm us when we fail, it just tests us again, in a different way. The team moved to the final chamber of the day. A massive crystalline wall dominated the room, etched with complex symbols and surrounded by floating orbs of light. The shadows here were longer, darker, and seemed almost sentient. As the team approached, the symbols shifted, forming a single word in a pattern that Milo could sense but not read. Tara examined it closely. It's a message. Not in words we know, but in meaning. It's asking us, to continue, to prove ourselves further, to show that humanity is worthy. Milo exhaled. Then we will. We're not just explorers. We're representatives of humanity. This vault is testing what humans can do, our intelligence, courage, teamwork, and morality. We have to succeed. The shadows curled around them one last time, forming paths and shapes that led deeper into the vault. Milo realized that the AI or the intelligence in the vault was not just a guardian or teacher. It was an observer, a judge, and perhaps even a guide for those who could rise to its challenges. As the team stepped forward into the unknown, Milo felt a surge of pride. Humans were not just survivors or explorers, they were problem solvers, courageous and clever, capable of cooperation and moral judgment. And the vault, alive with shadows and light, was beginning to recognize that. For the first time, Milo understood the true nature of the Cellar vault. It was a mirror, reflecting humanity's strengths back at them, while also preparing them for something far greater. And as the shadows danced around their feet, Milo knew one thing clearly: humanity was ready for the trials ahead. The chamber ahead was brighter than any they had seen before. Soft light glowed from the walls, bouncing off floating crystals that hung like stars in the air. The shadows here were calmer, moving slowly and deliberately, as if waiting for the team to make the next choice. Milo, Tara, and Rin stepped forward together, feeling a strange mixture of awe and determination. This place, it feels different, Milo said quietly. Like it knows we are ready for something more. Tara nodded. The trials worked. It saw how we think, how we cooperate, and how we make choices. I think it's ready to share more. Rin's eyes scanned the chamber. Look at the patterns on the walls. They're forming shapes we can actually recognize. There's information here, maybe instructions, or knowledge from the builders of this vault. As they moved closer, the largest crystal in the center of the chamber began to hum. A soft light projected from it, forming a holographic figure, the same intelligence they had seen before. But now it appeared more focused, deliberate. Its glowing lines shifted slowly, almost like a nod of recognition. Milo stepped forward. "We mean no harm. We want to understand. We want to learn." The figure's lights pulsed brighter, and the surrounding shadows moved in gentle arcs, guiding the team closer. Then a new projection appeared, a detailed map of the vault, showing hidden rooms and structures that had not been revealed before. Lines connected the crystals, towers, and panels, creating a network that seemed alive. Terra gasped. "It's showing us how everything works. Not just physically, but energetically. We can see the flow of power through the vault. This is incredible." Ren stepped forward, his fingers hovering over one of the floating devices. "If we can access this network, we could learn so much. Energy systems, engineering methods, maybe even something about faster space travel or new materials." The holographic figure extended a limb, and a small, hovering panel floated toward Terra. Symbols appeared, easier to read than before. Terra traced the lines with her fingers. The symbols seemed to respond, changing into shapes and diagrams that explained functions and energy flows. Milo realized the truth. It's teaching us, but it's also learning from us. This is an exchange. We are forming an alliance. The shadows curled around the room in a wave of light, revealing small chambers along the walls. Each contained devices, crystals, and panels, waiting to be explored. Milo, Terra, and Ren began moving through them, guided by the shifting shadows. With each step, they understood a little more. Machines hummed with energy, panels displayed patterns, and crystals glowed with knowledge they had never seen. Terra smiled. "It's like a library, but alive. And it's showing us how to read it, how to interact with it. This is more than technology, it's understanding." Ren nodded. "It's not just giving us knowledge. It's showing us how to think, how to approach problems in ways humans never considered. This could change everything for humanity." Milo placed a hand on a glowing panel. A soft vibration ran through his suit, and a projection of energy flows spread across the room. He felt as if the vault were connecting with him, sharing information in a way that was more than visual, it was intuitive. The shadows swirled around his arms, guiding his movements. "This is amazing," Milo whispered. "It's not just knowledge, it's partnership. It's letting humanity participate, not just observe." The holographic figure shifted again, projecting images of alien beings who had built the vault long ago. Milo, Terra, and Ren watched in awe as they saw tools, devices, and technologies beyond their imagination. But more than that, they saw the aliens interacting with the vault in harmony, like they were part of it, not just users of it. Terra glanced at Milo. "It's showing us the way to work with it, not against it. If we follow this path, we can learn safely, efficiently, and responsibly." Ren added, "And it's judging our cooperation, our patience, our curiosity. We are not just receiving knowledge, we are proving ourselves worthy of it." The shadows moved slowly toward the exit, forming a clear path. Milo understood that the vault was opening more of itself to them, allowing the team to explore areas that had been hidden until now. With each step, they felt the connection grow stronger, like the intelligence trusted them more with every choice and every solution. Milo took a deep breath, feeling the weight and wonder of the moment. We're forming a real alliance. Humanity can learn from this intelligence, and maybe, in time, it can learn from us too. This is more than discovery. This is partnership. The three explorers stepped forward together, ready to follow the shadows deeper into the vault. They knew the challenges ahead would be greater, but now they were not just explorers, they were allies, students, and participants in something far beyond anything humanity had ever known. And in that moment, Milo understood the true meaning of the Cellar Vault. It was not just a place of tests and mysteries. It was a living, thinking entity that could guide humanity toward knowledge, understanding, and a brighter future. The team emerged from the deepest chamber of the Cellar Vault, their hearts still racing from the discoveries they had made. Milo, Terra, and Ren paused for a moment, letting the soft hum of the crystals fade into memory. The shadows, once mysterious and intimidating, now seemed like guides that had led them safely through the labyrinth of the vault. Milo looked at his teammates and smiled. We did it. We learned, we solved the puzzles, and I think the vault trusts us now. Terra nodded, her eyes shining with excitement. It's more than trust. It's a partnership. The knowledge we gain this could change everything for our colony, maybe even for humanity. Ren adjusted his suit and looked back at the vault entrance. And it's still alive in there. The shadows, the crystals, the AI, they're all still watching, learning. But now we've proven ourselves capable. We've shown curiosity, courage, and teamwork. The climb back to the surface felt different than before. Every step up the ladder, Milo felt lighter, not because of gravity, but because of hope. They had entered the vault as explorers seeking knowledge, but they were leaving as participants in a partnership with something far beyond human understanding. When they reached the colony, the team was greeted with cautious curiosity. Other colonists had seen the flickers of light and the energy surges from the vault but did not know what had caused them. Milo gathered everyone in the central hall, his voice steady and confident. We found something extraordinary, he said. A vault, hidden beneath the surface, filled with knowledge and technology from a civilization long gone. But it's not just a vault, it's alive, and it wants to teach us. To guide us. Terra stepped forward. We've learned things that can improve our lives, our colony, and maybe even humanity itself. Energy systems, advanced engineering, and knowledge of new materials. But most importantly, we've learned how to work together and think carefully, because the vault observes everything. The colonists listened in awe, and for the first time, Milo realized the full impact of their discovery. The shadows that had once been frightening now symbolized potential, the potential for humans to grow, learn, and face challenges with courage and intelligence. In the following weeks, the team returned to the vault multiple times. Each journey revealed more secrets, holographic instructions for advanced machines, ways to create energy more efficiently, and insights into biology and medicine that humans had never imagined. Every time, the vault responded to their cooperation and curiosity, revealing knowledge gradually, ensuring they learned responsibly. Milo, Terra, and Ren worked tirelessly to document everything, careful to share it with the colony in ways that could be understood and used safely. The vault had taught them that knowledge without understanding could be dangerous. Patience, reasoning, and teamwork were just as important as intelligence. One evening, Milo stood at the edge of the vault entrance, looking down at the soft glow of the crystals below. The shadows shifted gently, almost like a wave of recognition. He smiled and whispered, "We've come a long way, and we're just beginning. Humanity has a chance to grow, to learn, and to reach heights we never dreamed possible." Terra joined him, her hand brushing the wall. It's like the vault knew what we were capable of. It tested us, challenged us, and now it has chosen to share its knowledge with us. Ren added, and it will continue to guide us, as long as we respect it and ourselves. This is a new beginning, not just for us, but for everyone who follows. The colony began to thrive like never before. The knowledge from the vault transformed their energy systems, improved farming and medicine, and even inspired new inventions. Humans learned to approach problems differently, thinking creatively, and working together more effectively. The vault had not just given them tools, it had shown them the value of intelligence, courage, and morality. Milo often thought of the shadows as he watched children play under the soft light of Tarnus IV's twin suns. The shadows had once been mysterious, perhaps frightening, but now they were a symbol of human potential. Curiosity, courage, teamwork, and respect had unlocked a new path for humanity. And deep beneath the surface, in the cellar vault, the crystals glowed softly. The AI continued to observe, learn, and adapt, ready to share more knowledge with those who proved themselves worthy. It had found in humans a new kind of partner, curious, brave, and capable of great things. Milo turned to his teammates one last time and smiled. We came seeking knowledge, and we found more than that. We found a way forward, a new dawn for humanity. And it all started with the shadows in the cellar vault. As the sun rose over the colony, the team looked toward the horizon, knowing that the future was no longer limited by what humans could imagine. With curiosity, courage, and cooperation, they were ready to face anything the universe could offer. The shadows had become light, and humanity had begun a journey that would reach far beyond Tarnus IV, guided by the vault and the lessons it had shared.